okey. Okay, so we're gonna call the meeting into order.
We don't need roll calls anymore. Council's not doing that.
Oh, great. Okay, so,
I mean, even for minutes and agenda and all that. So everyone present except Patrick Tinter.
okay, so we don't need an adoption. Well, we do need an adoption to, we need an adoption for the agenda, right?
People can just say aye, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I see. Okay. We're calling the meeting into order. Should we consider any request of a committee member to attend the meeting remotely under the emergency circumstances of AB two?
We don't have any.
We don't have any, good. And then can we kind of get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Second that.
Say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good. Any oral communications?
I see Chris is in here, but I haven't, once I see a hand raise, if you need to speak, Chris, I can let you in, but I haven't received any emails or something.
Okay. So, approval of the minutes, for last month, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion approved, the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any old business? No old business, so let's go into new business. So now we're going to be, so the first item in the new business is to elect the chair and vice chairs. As you all know, the chair and the vice chair is something that happens every year. And so at this point is where my years due. And we're gonna go ahead and have a election of the chair and the vice chair. Guess I could open it up to hear suggestions for you guys thinking of,
Nominations.
nominations and what I will say is we like to rotate and in this case Darius was the vice chair, so we'd like to nominate him as chair. And also Gregory as vice chair, but obviously this will put into vote. And I guess, do we put to vote them now, or do we hear other ones that would like to nominate somebody else?
You hear if there are other nominations and then.
Okay, so do we have any other nominations?
No, you took the words out of my mouth. So I'm for that. Do we vote separately or?
Yeah, I mean, if we only have one.
Yeah, so
We can vote separately, yeah. Sure.
so if we don't have any other
When everyone accepts their nomination.
Yeah, thanks, man.
okay, great. So can we all in favor?
You wanna go?
Or should we do a roll
Chair.
call for that?
Chair by, no, just, do you wanna do all in favor for the chair and then the vice chair?
Okay. All in favor for the chair, Darius?
Aye.
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 Vote for yourself, yeah.
Yeah, you can vote for yourself. Aye.
Great. So you're the new chair.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. All in favor for Gregory for vice chair. All in favor for Gregory?
Aye.
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 Aye, that's right.
So now we have the vice chair as well. So we have elected the chair and the vice chair. Congratulations, guys.
Yes, congratulations. Happy to see you guys stepping up.
Next.
Okay.
And
That means you
you
can't move.
Yeah, right.
wanted to turn the meeting over to the new chair at this point? I thought
Sure.
you would ask that.
That's generally how we do it, yeah.
So at this point, they will be chairing the meeting, so they will be effectively chair and vice chair of the committee.
Mhm.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you, yeah. And thank you, Christian, for your service for the past year as well and your leadership there. And we're gonna continue leadership in Device as we go forward, I guess. So then the next piece is there, I guess, starting point. Do you want maybe a summary of what AB 413 is? I know that was brought up last time. There were some emails as well, some sort of request for follow-up information, so we can kind of get a summary.
Yeah, we had, we sent around the text in the past, or there were inquiries from the public?
I think both
Um,
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, and we mentioned that, our council liaisons were concerned with this and wanted to, understand it. We met with staff. And when we met about that, we talked about, the committee's role, and the liaisons wanted to see that the committee had a role in implementation of AB 413. So, it's a law that is in effect in a warning state for this year.
Mhm.
And then enforcement of this law begins in January 2025. So it's meant to improve safety for bicyclists and pedestrians by daylighting. They're kind of the buzzword, the word to kind of encapsulate creating space and visibility at an intersection in the approach direction. So I don't think that we talked a lot about it, but is there a pointer? It's in the drawer. Anyways, so approach direction means this way, not this way. So approach direction of an intersection at a marked crosswalk, 20 feet back from the crosswalk, parking's not allowed. At an unmarked crosswalk, it's also 20 feet, but we're gonna have to be figuring out exactly where that unmarked crosswalk is, because it's not marked. But this will eliminate quite a few parking spaces. This applies everywhere in the state of California and everywhere in the city of Brisbane, not even just in central Brisbane, not even just the Northeast Ridge.
Every intersection.
Every intersection in which there is parking allowed.
Excuse me, so an unmarked crosswalk is just an intersection that doesn't have a crosswalk.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And we went out in the field and looked at those a little bit today, and we're gonna have to kind of meet with the committee when we get into this investigation and kind of help guide you through what it means. There's also an allowance in the law, and I don't know if it's in this San Francisco. Right up, maybe further down, New Daylight law. Oh, so this is the actual language of the law. 15 feet if there's a curb extension, so that is a bulb out, like we did a couple of places where we put the bioretention basins on visitation.
Mhm.
Only has to be 15 feet there. There's an exception. Local jurisdiction, so in this case where it's gonna be 20 feet,
Mhm.
there's no red curb that needs to be painted.
Mhm.
It's just the law, and we're gonna have to advertise that.
Signage, nothing to let
Not
people.
required.
Formula to enforce it, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll be doing a lot of public outreach about that.
And we're gonna have to, if they just don't know and there's no signage.
Yeah, and I guess people that are taking their driver's license test for the first time, it'll probably end up being on that. That's probably it, so
Maybe orange cones for the first few months.
that's something to think about.
Yeah.
There might be a lot of orange cones.
Yeah, it would be, huh?
Well,
52
the idea is that there's a
intersections.
warning period,
Mhm.
but we need to,
But that's now, isn't it, the one?
yeah, and we need to kind of get ahead of it in terms of, getting those identified, but let me keep explaining, start with this law. Local jurisdictions, if local jurisdictions determine, and I believe it has to go to a city council and be adopted, that there's a reason that that zone should be less than 20 feet, that's the bottom bullet where Tomas has the cursor, then you have to paint that.
Okay, so
Um,
less than 20 feet we paint.
yeah.
Okay.
So we talked about when those particular conditions would apply, and we couldn't really think of a lot other than if you make it a few feet less, you can maintain a parking space, that might be a reason. If there's a fire hydrant that already defines it, that might be a reason. There's not gonna probably be a lot of these exceptions, but we'll also be looking for those too.
The 15 feet applies to fire hydrant, doesn't it?
So the fire hydrant law
As I
is
was reading
15
that.
feet on either side.
Okay,
So that needs to be thought about in relation to this.
that's
So,
30 feet. That's
Yeah.
a lot.
yeah. A lot of them are at intersections, so then it's only 15 feet one
Yeah,
way.
but the ones that are in the middle of the block.
Yeah.
Gonna make a big difference.
That's already a law.
I didn't know, I thought it was 7 feet.
So did I probably, because, you know,
Things change.
and there might be places where a few places where a parking space isn't marked as not parking that's within 15 feet of a fire hydrant, so we'll identify those,
Is it, I mean, just to put a little more meat on the bone, so to speak, to do like a Google, to go into Google Map and let's say one intersection that I find a lot of conflicts, and it's in this citation is where, Brisbane Inn is. And I'm also not clear, is it just, can it be like sort of like, like an L shape, this direction and this direction too?
that is not parkable, no. Let me get to that, we'll get to specifics, and we're gonna try to work through how to collect this data, that's kind of what we're gonna have to figure out at this meeting.
Is that what our assignment is, to collect the data to?
Yeah, so the
Okay.
council liaisons, we were hoping they were gonna be here this month, but then, you will hear from them next month. Said that that's the top priority. They did tell us when we were explaining how the law worked, that they wanted you guys to assist staff by going out in pairs, looking at each intersection, because we're gonna have to remove some striping. We've got angled parking, we've got tick marks, we've got
Mhm.
white lines.
Mhm.
We need to fix all of that throughout the city. And we're trying to figure out, how do we do that? So I think it was 4 of you tonight, maybe you decide to be groups of 2, and we go out with each of the groups and kind of walk through a couple of the challenging ones. We can also do it on Google Maps, but they, they think it's gonna take quite a bit of time, and we need to be ready.
For example, Visitation and Mariposa. And there's angled parking on Visitation and angled parking on the right side when you're approach Visitation from Mariposa. So would that mean we would need 20 feet that way for Visitation?
So if it's a
20 feet the other
4-leg
way?
intersection,
Yeah,
there's 8 corners, but 4 of those will be affected.
right, okay. So all the corners will be affected in that. That really does need more of a sight line there. It's a dangerous intersection. So,
Yeah, I mean, in pedestrian, in the case of pedestrian, it's probably it's not even enough really in terms of making sure you see pedestrians, but it's what the law is.
well, the angled parking makes it very difficult also to see cars coming
Yeah,
if they're tall.
yeah, and this won't solve the problem for cars. It'll
Mhm.
improve it a little bit, but it won't necessarily
Yeah.
even solve it for cars. So that's the assignment. Tomas and I talked a bit about how to record that, and he was leaning towards, using a tablet or device and kind of just keeping an Excel spreadsheet, but I kind of think we need a map that has marks right on the map. So we want to talk about both options and see what you guys think. And,
What are we reporting on?
well, why don't you can pull up a
Well,
Google map,
yeah.
start with.
well, let's look at this corner of central Brisbane, for instance. We would have still have to work out what the exact assignment would be team by team. We would outline a general area for you, and we would ask you to walk the street. I guess it would be simplest to start with like San Bruno, for instance. And we would walk down San Bruno. The task would be
Go a
to.
little bit closer.
Yeah. That's over here. There it is. Yeah. Here's one. So the assignment would
You
be.
see the problem right there.
Yes.
It was in the intersection.
On the approach right here. Yeah.
What's across street there?
This is where the labels.
It's near the church.
San Bruno and Mendocino, or
Mendocino.
no, Mariposa, right?
It's
No, I think it's
abandoned.
further. Mendocino. But the assignment,
I
the
think.
assignment would be to walk San Bruno, identify intersections. And then depending on if we go the digital route using Google Earth or the map route, which I have, this is just a very basic example I have, but we would mark the 20 feet. And we would identify this at every location, and also when Karen talked about cases where it might be different, if there's some reason or something that leads us to believe it would need to be different, we would identify that. And similarly, if there's an unmarked crosswalk, which is not as common as, there's really a lot of crosswalks are marked, but we would identify if it's a marked crosswalk, unmarked crosswalk. And then we would, if it was Google Earth, we would create a visual here with a measuring tool.
And then you would say, I mean, I'm just gonna, you say here it's 20 feet. I mean, I'm just, just for demonstration's purpose.
Mhm.
And then you would compile that file, send it to me, and then I would have all that information. And it would just be a very, I think it'd be, for me, I mean, obviously I'm leaning toward using digital because that's just how, what I'm comfortable with, but it would be an easy way for me to have that all organized. And then as far as having a spreadsheet, I would probably say, what intersection, you would identify the intersection it is. You would identify if there's anything notable about why it shouldn't be 20 or 20, or less than 20 or more than 20. And then we would compile all this information. And when the time comes down the road to actually put this into practice and when the law becomes enforceable, we would have to make striping adjustments based on what you guys identified.
We'll try to make them as soon as we can, because then the police can start to. walk
Right,
here.
yeah,
So I have a question.
So they are-
In this example, you have a white line that indicates you can park on the right of it. So 20 feet from the back of this crosswalk is a car length or whatever it is.
But that would be painted now then. You had a stripe
We
or
would-
something, you'd have to.
We
Turn
just
that to
turn that
right
into
and grind
the-
it off. We put a right angle and then we
Okay.
grind off that stripe
Yeah.
there.
Oh, that makes
Oh,
sense.
So, yeah,
There are cases where. it's
Basically to
not-
make show that it's not,
Right, that's actually what's happening right here, it's hard to see, but it's. right over here.
yeah, they already have one.
And I don't, San Bruno doesn't have tick marks, right? I was thinking maybe it did. If there were a tick mark that said you can park here, we would
Mhm.
take one out.
What's a tick mark?
So if you go up the
Like a
street there,
little
there's
T.
one up on,
Oh,
to the right up there.
To designate.
Yeah, if you go up, if you go on that street to the, if you go to the right there you go. And then on that intersection to the left right there, some of those, I think right there, yep, keep going up the street there, yeah, I think some of those, oh, no, ticks, also lions, never mind. I forgot. Is it old map or maybe? Cause now I thought it was, yeah.
it could be old, well,
Was, you know,
well, it says
whatever.
2022, but still not that.
There are
Some areas-
no, I bet there-
Can you go back to the intersection?
It's, we used to have it on the side of City Hall to indicate parking spaces.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Mhm.
It's like when there's a meter, there's a tick mark.
Yeah, when it defines the exact, like, length of the car that you would put in, that's what. So those would be gone.
Okay, so I have a question for clarification. In that intersection,
Yeah.
underneath the trees on the right-hand side, right where your cooker is,
Mhm.
if there happened to be a driveway in there,
Oh, within that
within the
20 feet.
20 feet, could we then? How would we deal with that? Would
So-
we add it in as the 20 feet?
That's a good question
20
because
feet?
we were actually out there with Commander Garcia today and we thought. We asked the exact same question and he's like, well, you're not allowed to do that anyways. He's like, because we asked the question, what if someone who owns this home and they park in front of their driveway and blocking their own driveway, which is no one complains about. And he said that that's technically you can't do that either by the California Vehicle Code. So
You can't block the sidewalk.
you can't block your own
block
driveway,
In front end.
Can't block a drive.
Can't block.
your own driveway. Yeah, you can't even block your own
Really?
driveway. Yeah.
So we're not gonna go take out a white line, you could go to the intersection we looked at,
Right.
in front of your driveway, if
I
you're
mean,
not in an intersection, we're not dealing with it, let's address this first. But we looked at.
Where are the street labels?
So I just wanna get like the scope per block and I wanted to, since we were looking at the block. So that's the only area that we're gonna be looking at?
What area?
All of Brisbane.
No, but let's say this block right, can you go back here?
No,
Okay, so
yeah, lots of things.
this is the only,
It's the approach direction, so this is leaving, this is approaching, so not this side, but this side.
so this is the only.
Oh, so it's only that
This
section.
side,
Right,
this
yeah,
side, this
okay.
side,
So when-
and four,
So would you go
But every
down San
intersection.
Bruno and then back
it's
up?
only the one that
Yeah,
you get.
and
Four.
and like when like example she used on visitation,
Or
there's
before,
four
like,
corners.
But then
So
there's three.
four
There's
intersections,
one.
but it would only be one on each side, so there wouldn't be 8. It'd just be
Yeah,
one.
be 4 total.
Yes,
This one you're approaching, this one you're approaching.
it will be this one. We should probably make a sample.
We have a
Like the one-
deadline.
But at a T, it's different, right? There, then it's that way, this way, and this way only. But at every
I would say
intersection.
it's our assignment for the year.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
T intersection.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
at T,
there's-
it's every approaching way either way, so.
Yeah, I think we should probably
Every
have like
intersection.
sample intersections so we know what. are we
Yeah,
looking at.
demo of what you're looking for.
Cause you're looking at 8, but we gotta.
We're gonna show you. in the
Eight photo,
field.
right?
We're gonna
And then
show you in the
4.
field.
Mhm.
We're gonna-
I'm wondering if it might be
Karen.
more expeditious if we just took a street or several streets and a certain amount of time and just walk them ourselves. I mean, I don't see why we couldn't do that. And then if it came up on Google Earth that,
Yeah, we want you to go out and walk.
That's the silent, yeah.
oh, because I thought the staff was coming with us.
For one, to give you, to get
Oh,
you.
oh,
to get you
just-
going.
Okay, that makes sense.
So
Oh, and
we
there's a-
wanted to look at an unmarked crosswalk. And so we found this when we were driving an intersection. If you can cross the street, that's an unmarked crosswalk. So
Where is that?
Alvarado Street and Mendocino there,
And-
or Alvarado.
Yeah, I think it's,
Cause that's the other block, we're just by the church there, if you make a right to turn us down Alvarado
There's
there.
labels, where are the labels? So,
So it's a little hard to
Airport.
see from an aerial photo.
oh, I'll stop messing with it. I was trying to get street labels, but.
So there is a handicap ramp here and here, but they're old, so they don't have the yellow truncated domes on them, so that doesn't help you to see them, but an unmarked crosswalk by the police department's definition is the way someone would walk across the street. That's the crosswalk. So it also has to do with where the handicap ramp is. So in this case, it's here. So the approach direction,
From Monterey, that's
Here.
Monterey there,
that's Monterey.
onto Alvarado then, yeah.
So the measurement would be from the, you know how a handicap ramp from the curb direction ramps down, right? Where the curb is flat, that's the start of the crosswalk. Well, we're gonna show you in the field, but, so in this case, it would be from about this point, 20 feet. And we want you to say. So we would have to change the striping.
And that tree is blocking.
Like this is a perfect example, but this is not the approach direction. So the strange thing was a driveway was a question. This is a driveway and this is a driveway. So he said the crossing here would be this way, although people might cross this way, you know, it's a little bit complicated.
Yeah, there's no sidewalk on that side though, right? Like, in front of those houses, there's no sidewalk, so is
But
there
if
a
you can go to that
crosswalk?
house, you're
there's
still
a
walking,
potential.
Hmm,
And
right? You're still crossing the street.
but it's only that resident then, so it's like a private, yeah.
But you might be going to this house and you parked over, I mean, you gotta kind of.
Yeah.
So when they come across, we determined that it started here and went to here, that's 20 feet.
Okay.
Okay, so we would change this stripe, we would make it vertical here and we'd make it vertical here.
that's a driveway.
But those are both driveways.
That's a driveway. So now they shouldn't be parking there.
In their driveway.
They can pull into
No,
their
on the
driveway.
street in front of their driveway.
Oh, okay.
But we're not, there's a driveway here, but because it's not within the limits of this project and the approach direction, we're not gonna do anything with the striping there because
Okay.
we'd have to change all the striping in the city and it would just be.
It looks like the majority of the cars on that side are parked within the white line, but also on sidewalks and up further.
On the right-hand side, there's no sidewalk, on the left, they're coming downward, though, that's on the street, cause my house is one down this way.
That's not even,
Yeah,
that's not.
so that right there is someone's sort of yard, but there's no sidewalk on the,
It's just
whatever
like a
side.
little curve.
Yeah, it's a little curb, and people park there, but then if you go down the street a little this way, yeah, all those cars there are on the left-hand side are like on the street, not on the curb. Yeah.
Okay.
But you still remove another parking spot incoming down Alvarado on the other side, that car would also have to get removed, yeah.
I'm still a little, are you neighbors with Gail Hyde?
Gail, she's,
Would
Lisa,
she be
wanna see us
this
later?
way?
yeah, listen, these, if you go down this way, yeah, that would be, no, Gail doesn't, yeah, it's, what's her name, she's the artist with painted fence.
Deanne.
The other way, yeah,
Washington.
yeah.
Okay.
Mine's the drive with the
No, so
solar
we're-
panel there,
You're in
yeah.
the neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm the cactus with the solar panel right there, yeah. That's the driveway with the car on the left side, the one car sitting in the driveway. The other side, yeah, that car. Right where the mouse is, that's my car, yeah. And then right in front of it's my curb, that's the spot I get, you know, little.
Okay,
Yeah.
your cactus
The
with,
cactus, yeah,
with a solar panel.
that's right, yeah,
I think that's your new nickname.
yeah. But then also on that side, then you also get rid of, yeah, a couple parking spots on,
Yeah,
yeah, because that's already, there is signage, but it'll be further back on the approach side there where that car is, it'll also get removed. Yeah, so that car, there's already some, but you have to push it back further,
this,
yeah, right, from that, because there would be an intersection. Yeah,
That's from the stop sign, right?
no, well, but there's sort of a curb there that you have to draw where, so it's the blue car then, it's like, yeah.
yeah, I mean.
There's like an imaginary
the
crosswalk
police
there.
Commander
Yeah.
would say people are gonna walk
Yeah,
this way. So it'd be starting at this point, 20 feet back. So it might be like half of that
Yeah.
space.
but the blue car wouldn't be removed though, even that would be in the
No.
crosswalk.
Why not?
Because it's not in the
It's
approach
not there.
direction. it's in the-
Approach.
Yeah, and there's no
it's-
crosswalk, but
You
it's in a.
approach it-
Oh, the blue. car.
Oh, from the
Okay.
corner, okay,
Right.
approach from the corner.
Yeah.
Okay, that clarifies a lot. I would have thrown that blue car right out of there.
No.
If you're in
The
the
blue car's in
crosswalk,
the crosswalk, but there's no crosswalks, it's not marked, so you don't need to worry about that.
Okay, that's interesting. I think we need a set of rules.
I guess we go to the field and try it out then, that's the. or
This
we'll-
gonna, this needs to happen also in,
The
The
ridge,
ridge.
the ridge.
Yeah,
It needs to happen on,
California.
you know,
Every
No,
street.
but in terms of us, we
Yeah.
have to.
in terms of us, everything in
Everything,
Brisbane.
Industrial and everything.
Even in businesses area.
Even near, the
It's
recycling.
easy on Google Maps. we'll do
Even
that
near
one.
where your business
Ecology.
should be. Should we look at?
Yeah, zoom in there.
Brisbane?
Well, I already gave that spot.
Which
remember?
might be all that we need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good with
I'm
that.
looking forward to it. It's an interesting assignment.
Is there a plan to paint any curbs at all, or is there like a P number of curbs that might get painted, or is that sort of resistance to paint curbs that?
Resistance.
Okay, sort of addition, yeah.
Yeah, and the law doesn't require it, which, you know,
Yeah.
it's a
The
lot
P
easier.
would-
San Francisco's doing it, but
San Francisco painting every curb.
they're paying a lot.
Yeah.
20 feet.
But the marking on the
Really
street would be
cool.
painted, that would, the marking on the street would be painted, or the sort of, if the parking indication
Yeah.
would be added, if it's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really hope that there's some gentle time when it becomes real law where this has to happen, because I can't imagine how we're gonna get
So
this
much later.
information out.
This is the actual law, but we don't get it. we don't
Well,
get to get
and
into
yeah,
it.
that was one of the things that,
law of
Councilmember
information.
Or
Mackin
this
was
too.
wanted to tie, which we may end up doing, it may end up happening that way, but parking permit program with this law, she wanted to wait, and
Well,
the
this
other,
really supports the parking permit program a lot.
that was her point, it's like, everyone's gonna want it after this happens,
Yeah.
to get rid of the excess cars.
Do you know if other states have implemented this, or do we have a
Mm.
precedent?
I think
But it said on that thing, 40 other states
Yeah, right here.
have this type of law already.
40?
Yeah,
Yeah, California was actually late to the game apparently.
Usually California is the first one.
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of weight that we could, maybe we do the same thing that we did with the cities, pick some cities from other states, how they did it, just to compare.
The laws.
The laws are very clear on how to do
There's
it.
no options.
Already.
We need to go out and sort of identify the streets, so how do we wanna, so there's, I guess, a first pass of where we all go together, and then we break it apart into.
Well, I
sort of
think we
divisions,
still
or-
need to go with you two and two,
Yeah.
because otherwise it's.
It's just too much, yeah.
I don't mind doing this like on my own assignment, just take a street, take care of that street, take another street. And
Maybe,
just keep going, so that we're not trying to negotiate schedules. And then.
Oh, one, just individually.
Yeah, and then we can review it,
Yeah, I know.
whatever information we bring back can be reviewed on our.
I like that,
screen
idea,
like
otherwise
this.
trying to get everyone's schedule.
Yeah.
Right.
especially
Yeah,
nowadays.
I walk a lot of these streets anyways, a lot, so I can, I'm
And I
like,
do-
bring a
and
tape
I do-
measure with myself and a little map and
Gotta walk
marking.
the dog, so.
We can convert it to digital as well. potentially
My
after a
sewing
walk.
tape
Yeah,
measures, I can do 6 feet at a time.
So what do you imagine, you go out and you have your tape measure, how do you document where that 20 feet is?
Well, I'm also, I guess, well, we're not, are we,
We
we're
can
not,
take a picture.
are we supposed to document or just sort of note that there would be a removal parking spot here? It's not like we have to measure it out and say, hey, this is, in no case would 2 spots be removed, I guess. It would only be 1
But
spot.
But you wanna
It's
document to
gonna-
make sure it's actually 20.
North,
Yeah.
south,
Right?
east,
Yeah.
west.
Yeah, well, I mean, for each corner though, right, but like,
Yeah.
I can I can go walk to that corner and say, okay, this would be a problem, this would be a problem, this would be a problem.
In my ideal world,
And you
if
walk.
there's a map and you've drawn a line, then we can get that
Oh, yeah,
striping
yeah,
changed.
onto the,
Well,
on Google Maps. we could do
Yeah.
that.
Couldn't we
visually,
just-
too.
Print out some maps that we can carry for each street.
See,
or
that's the
for
difference. Some of
several
you want
streets.
printed maps and some. of
Depends,
you
yeah.
want to do-
right, so yeah, that's just this example, but let's say I'm walking the streets, I would go approach this intersection Alvarado, and then because it's scaled, I know from this is just an example, I'm not gonna actually use a scale, because I just kind of slap this together, but a 1/4 inch, according to the scale, is 20 feet, so I would have my ruler, do a 1/4 inch, and then.
No, but you're out walking on the street,
Yeah.
and you're actually marking.
You're looking at this, I guess it depends on the deliverable we wanna have, do we wanna have it be just a map where we marked, okay, these are the ones I did, and I marked it there with the ruler, my pictures by my phone, do you wanna have a digital output, I guess, what would be what do we wanna do as a committee?
I'm a little concerned about the digital output because of my own inexperience with it.
But I guess if you could give a
But I
map,
could
then
get the
maybe we could
information.
get, if you get a map, maybe we could convert it to digitally pretty easily then by, okay, this is what the conversion is potentially.
I mean, I prefer something that we can get a striper to, so it's very specific.
You mean like go on through something, actually mark something on there, or?
It could, no, it could be a drawing, because a mark might be, someone might change it, someone might come and realize you're taking away striping and
Spray cans?
do something else with their
Move it
spray can.
here.
But, yeah, that map that Tomas has with the line, this needs to be removed from here to
Mm.
here.
Yeah.
That's,
That would be sufficient. Just something that shows, the area that needs to be removed.
Yeah.
But how
It would
come-
be really easy to just take a map and then, you know,
Sure.
measure and mark, measure and mark.
that's what I,
Yeah, and then turn it all into Tomas and he can figure it out.
That's what I do, yeah.
well, what if it were
So-
photographs? That's a good
But
question.
that's a good question. Could we also take photographs? Like if we have the
We didn't even
measuring
think of
tape?
that. Put your measuring tape
Yeah,
down.
that's what I did earlier, just for something else with Mark.
Put
Yeah,
like, put the measuring tape down and then just take a picture.
yeah. That was pretty well.
It's
But
not
you
gonna,
know, you need to,
it's not gonna show the unmarked crosswalk though. It'll, in a marked crosswalk case, that's
But when the
fine.
ruler starts, I guess you can see where you would say that it starts and kind of show that, but then I guess we have to have a sort of a system for saying this is this incoming direction versus this or something, so that we,
Yeah,
a
that should be
naming
all
scheme
really
to it.
nice
That-
to
So
look
it's sort of
the naming
obvious
scheme,
which way it's
which-
coming from, and
What's the direction and which street you are
Yeah.
on?
so it's okay, in this case,
That's
you
why I
would, you
like the
know.
map,
That's
because
my math might be better.
it's not a grid.
Yeah.
Brisbane's not a grid.
But then imagine you're hoping, like, I guess, with a physical map, like a printout map with drawings as we walk through
but you
town,
can see the
or.
If
houses.
you can draw it on your, are you gonna use a phone? Do you have a
Well, I mean, I
tablet?
had a tablet, but like, what Tomas did there was cool, I had never seen that before, the
Oh,
little
yeah,
map
the-
drawing, I
you
would just
go-
do that, like, draw town quickly.
Yeah,
It's cool, or-
Yeah, like, that would
And how
take.
do you save them? Someone needs to give me. a
What,
course.
yeah, I think so, the idea is that you can click a bunch of them and just save your project right down the right hand side, and you would just save and say, that's the wrong side, or that's not the approach side though, is it?
Oh, no, I'm just sorry, yeah, you're right, I wouldn't be the one.
Yeah.
Just things.
That example, but on the other side, you would click and say, approach.
Yeah.
San Bruno, whatever street this is,
On
one,
that blue car on the
So,
right,
yeah, I'm
what are
tracking.
those marks on the street
uh,
right
It would be-
behind the
Have
car?
you done that so that no one else parks in your spot?
no, I think that's probably just from Google, something weird, that's, oh, that's, you know, that's stop sign, that's the stop sign right there, cause I think. Coming in this approach, the red car is behind the stop sign, because they're kind of driving, there's a stop sign here and a stop sign here. But the crosswalk would probably be where this other car's parked.
Behind that blue car, there's like some,
There's some striping behind the blue car on the right.
oh no, that one.
Oh, yeah, that's my driveway or walkway here, someone's private, yeah. I'm not sure what that's, right, yeah, this wasn't upward.
I think we should probably do one as a group, or at least, because we wanna
Yeah,
be
we should do one
consistent,
to be
right?
consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess if you do
also-
one, yeah.
Who's gonna double check what we do, or how is this gonna be, how is this data gonna be implemented?
Yeah, I mean,
It's a
ideal,
lot of work.
I think the most,
It is.
what's the most difficult, or what we'll be reviewing is unmarked crosswalk. So if you guys say this is an unmarked crosswalk, we would do our due diligence to go check that one versus where, if it's a marked crosswalk, you know, it's pretty easy to tell with a marked crosswalk, so.
Well, that's a marked
But
crosswalk,
not there or there.
That's on there.
but
Oh,
not,
there's one marked. and
This
then
one's
there's one
marked.
Two unmarked, yeah.
would the other one be where the blue car is?
And you have to look at the curb there, right? There's a curb or not, or whatever is
The light
there.
blue car?
And the dark blue car on
Down
the
by,
right.
toward the bottom of the screen, I think. So sort of, yeah, toward the
That
bottom of the
one.
screen. Oh, yeah.
No,
No, the bottom of the screen or top of the
No,
screen?
top of the screen where
Okay,
you just
where the
have
mouse is,
zero.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that an unmarked crosswalk from the
Yeah.
other corner across?
Kind of right from the stop sign of that, where the stop sign would be, should there be a crosswalk that's unmarked there, basically? Right, or where the blue car is driving over.
Yeah, the stop line.
The
Yeah.
stop line, should that be a crosswalk essentially?
Okay, so we'd be adding two crosswalks there, right?
Well, this intersection is 3 total crosswalks, right? Because each, you can cross the street at each
each
point. I think.
leg.
Yeah, each leg has a crosswalk, but only one of which is marked in this case. 2 are unmarked crosswalks. But one is in the middle of a driveway though, so how do you do that? Like the bottom one is a crosswalk into a driveway. Right, that's someone's private driveway there, there's no sidewalk, but it's still a crosswalk.
Mhm.
But in that case, we wouldn't remove any parking because there's no parking there anyway.
Yeah, there is.
Well, there is.
You
there's a
scroll
little red
down.
star there.
Well, not with the commander, and he said people would walk this way. That's what he would consider the crosswalk.
Okay,
And an
Even though
angle.
I agree, I
Yeah.
would think it would be.
Essentially views,
He
yeah,
said
following
way
the
people
curve.
walk.
yeah,
So,
Why would it be at an angle instead of straight across?
because they're walking
they
on,
should be walking the house, yeah.
Oh, the street's at an angle, okay.
Yeah, that one, but
Okay.
it's each individual street sort of situation, you have to go through, yeah.
I mean, gray area, right? Gray
It is
area.
gray area, yeah.
But let's say it's here, so
Mhm.
this approach direction.
Yeah.
We're gonna make that white line turn here and then we're
Can you do
gonna.
that map here?
We're gonna make it turn there, we're gonna take this out.
Yeah, can you do that?
Everybody listening?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone's talking. So we're gonna make it a right angle here and take this out.
Then it's hash that out, basically. Yeah,
No, we're just gonna grind it off.
I'll write it out.
But close it.
No hash, no paint over, just grind it off. So now, if these people parked in front of their driveway, they would not, the paint would not allow them to do that.
Are there any grants from the state
No.
to do it? So we have to all put our own bill for this, so. No signs, no painting.
Unless it's us.
Just,
That's probably why
This painting
they're not gonna paint
identifies
the
the-
curb.
Well,
Or that's
painting
probably
to
why
close
avoiding
the-
painting curbs.
yeah, and also it fades if you don't get it maintained and
Yeah.
it's ineffective, you know?
Yeah, there's no longer a no parking right in front of my house.
so,
It's gone.
let's say that, in some of these, intersections, you know, parking is too tight or it's very difficult to, you know, do this type of marking and is it possible to use other, like a mirror and stuff like that? Because that's the problem, right? Visibility.
That's a necessary safety issue, but it's very separate from this. We did install convex mirrors in a couple of places, Glen Parkway and on San Benito, where there was a real problem with animals being run over, and speeding. So those, if there's a place where you can identify that really needs one, I think that's important.
But I was thinking more as a substitution, they wouldn't allow that, huh? Like if you say, you know, if we would put mirror or some other devices, it's going to mitigate,
The law.
no?
No, the,
We have to go by the word of the law.
So yeah, I guess for this then, would you prefer to use digital format like Google Maps? Can we do this example on this street to measure out? And is there a way to maybe annotate that this would get rid of a parking spot or not get rid of a parking spot or require, you know, 'cause I think those are kind of the question marks, whether like, you know, it requires removal spot or.
You can annotate it, yeah, this is
That
a,
way you can sort of see a list
This
of
is
how
the-
many total
this is
streets.
the
you
web
can-
browser version, so there's like less tools, I'm less familiar with it, but I have the downloaded version and you can annotate and put notes like that.
Or you think you're going to paper map
we're
and do
okay
this?
with, yeah, some of you doing.
I think, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever your preference is.
And then
Just
somehow
to
have a
know
system.
Who's in charge
Yeah.
or who's
To know
responsible for
where-
what streets.
Right.
basically.
I bought-
Yes, that's a good
6
point.
months
We have to
ago, and I don't know how
like
to
make
do
it
that.
efficient so we're not duplicating work
Yeah.
and have some consistency. So we're not, we being too creative.
What if we
You know.
decide everybody picks a couple of
Or your
couple
next,
sections and then next meeting we review what you've done and.
yeah, we should probably do, you know, like, but our neighbor, since we're more familiar with it, so, you know, we'll probably pick Mariposa and visitation, some of that, and
Yeah,
then,
and we can organize that before next
Yeah.
meeting, like I can.
Yeah, and if you could send just some loose guidelines.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
zoom out on the city, maybe even turn off the aerial.
Turn off the aerial.
Go to more style, yeah.
Yeah, can you do that on Google Earth? You can do it on
Like,
Google Maps.
On the layers, I think.
you just get that little person to drop it there. There it
What's
is.
that? Oh, that's not it.
Just clean.
Cool.
Oh, wait, that's too much.
I know what you
All
mean.
borders
like,
Right,
legal,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
gotta be
maps
those-
more than.
Everything, all borders, legals, roads.
Oh, well, there's
That's
that
what you're looking
problem,
for
but
before.
yeah.
Save that.
I think you're on Earth, not maps, yeah, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, you
can
mean like
do-
the map speak, Karen?
Google Maps.
Yeah, I think we can do that.
And I guess will we start with just downtown Brisbane or central Brisbane, then expand to the ridge, or just all assign everything starting at the beginning, or how much do we need to tackle before the next meeting versus saying, what was the timeline, I guess, also to kind of get these numbers in there?
I think our biggest problem is gonna be main town.
Yeah.
Old town or whatever people are calling it now, but, the majority of the issues will probably be on this map.
Mhm.
And so this might be moved up to, you know, priority and then. And keeping the ridge in the background is, you know,
Well,
as we
Pat's
gotta
in the-
get to
Pat's
that,
in the ridge,
yeah.
right?
Huh?
Pat.
Pat lives in.
Pat
lives in
gets,
the ridge.
Pat gets all the north.
He's not here.
He gets the-
I
Christian gets
second
the whole
that.
business district, you agree to that, and.
I
I'm just
second.
saying for now, everybody identify like at least 3 or 4 or 5 blocks and do that by next time.
Okay,
So, but tell us, so then we're
Yeah,
not.
Mariposa, I can do that in San Francisco.
I guess you're taking the bottom
And-
corner sort of between San Bruno, or what are you thinking?
I could do end to end from like Mariposa and San Francisco all the way to Solano.
Okay, I'm
And
gonna
then the
call
bottom?
that
That, like-
do Tulare.
And if you want, I can add Monterey to that too. if you
Christian
want.
lives in Mariposa though. He wants-
Oh, you want to do it?
How about
Oh, I
if we
live on
do,
San Francisco.
you live in San
I live in
Francisco?
Alvarado right there, so. But
I agree.
it's
All-
going pretty good. Yeah.
all of San Francisco and maybe, maybe
Mm,
Christian just does up here. And so Gregory does this and maybe this or something.
Yeah,
And
that
now he's
works.
touching your neighborhood.
I mean, I walk a lot around town, so I don't mind.
Okay, so Gregory, all of San Francisco, and then what, bounded by San Bruno, Monterey, Alvarado, San Francisco.
All of San Francisco bounded by visitate,
You don't have to do this part if you don't want to, but
Oh, yeah.
okay, how about all of this?
okay, yeah,
San Francisco, San Bruno,
to Monterey.
Monterey, Alvarado.
So it'll probably start here, right? That's,
So Christian is gonna be,
this one here.
Bounded by
this one,
Mariposa.
This one,
Mariposa,
This one.
Visitation,
this little square right here.
Mendocino. Solano.
Okay, am I the only one that hasn't chosen?
No, we haven't got an variance.
Go ahead.
No, your preference.
You do
first.
No, go
anything,
ahead.
Honestly, you go ahead.
can still do anything.
Okay, I live on Tulare, so I'll do Tulare, San Bruno.
That's only two. There's only one.
Oh, I know, but also San Bruno, the approach is northbound on San Bruno is a nasty, scary one. I'll also take Glen Parkway.
How much of San Bruno? You'll do all the,
I'll go to Santa Clara Street. Okay, and then,
down from Tulare?
yeah, and then I'll also do Lake Street,
Hang
Glen Parkway.
on.
That's Tulare up here, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just letting Gregory know where Tulare.
Tulare, San Bruno, Santa Clara.
Yeah, by the name's not there.
Annis, at this point, I'd leave alone because there's nothing up there that's blocking anything at that beginning of
And
the,
it's one of the roads,
Yeah, the one.
lesser known roads.
So wait, I didn't, Glen Parkway, how much of it?
up to, Firth, where it turns into Lake Street, just for a start. And then I can also do Thomas
Right, that's what I was thinking too.
and,
That's,
the corner of San Benito and Glen Parkway.
wait. Yeah, so Glen Parkway all the way up to San Benito. Oh,
no,
that
I'll-
includes,
I'll
Yeah.
take it to Firth Park and Ross Way, which is the one that's not marked there, that little leg. Stop,
and this whole
stop and
triangle.
go left.
Yeah,
That one is Ross, yeah,
and this triangle plus Ross.
yeah,
So Glen
and I
Parkway.
can do the corner, yeah,
I think
Santa
that's
Clara.
enough.
Okay, we got that.
Plus
And I can
And
go
like-
from, yeah, and if you go to Santa Clara, I can go from Alvarado Street, sort of coming the other direction, so meaning where Greg left off from Alvarado Monterey, all the way through Central and then kind of up to the hill part there, So,
So Alvarado.
If we can at least do.
yep,
all the way
more than that, so I do, I would volunteer to do sort of movies and all, I walk this every single day, so I can walk a lot of this sort of Mark Moore, and so I'm happy to do, I guess, it's essentially between where, yeah, I guess right in here, and then I can kind of come up some of this part as well.
Okay, well, those
Just
who
keep
walk should
going.
do more.
I mean, honestly, I walk this every day, so I don't mind writing down some notes and adding to
Okay.
the map.
Well, it's a trial, so.
Yeah,
that
yeah, we
everyone
can see and then
what
we
we're
can.
doing.
Yeah.
Napa Ave is kind of more of an avenue, right? Does that count?
Where is Napa Ave?
It's the alley.
It's the alley back way, so,
Oh, okay,
but at the
Does that
crosswalks
count
there.
as a,
I would think so.
as crosswalks?
What?
I think there was something, there might have been something on
Is
there.
there something along?
Sorry.
Whoa,
Oh, sorry.
what- I saw
I didn't-
something
you asked
about
about alleys.
alleys.
Around Alvarado.
Yeah.
Don't do too much because we want to review what you're doing.
Yeah, of course, yeah, I was.
You said have.
I do here, this part. I'm looking this part, so I can go to this part down here.
There was something.
So Alvarado Street, or I can just keep it to this piece, but I
Alvarado.
can send you this piece.
Can you do like
Yeah, that
a
until we-
sample, Thomas?
And at intersections, you guys might.
Can you do like
That'd be
a
good to-
sample intersection?
Yeah, sure.
So
Right
Karen,
now,
there's a
or
question
just-
about
No,
the
you know, like,
alleyway and
email
whether
it.
those
Okay, yeah,
qualify
sweet.
as.
Yeah, I'll go do
There's-
one.
There's
Yeah.
parking,
yeah.
is there parking? No, they're not.
Also,
wide.
there's some good, there's a
No,
good video
there's
I watched
parking.
before this meeting.
Uh,
So.
yeah.
On
On
it.
the approaches
Like a
to
little
them in some
recap
places,
and
there
some-
are parking.
Bullet point.
Klamath,
And,
Mendocino.
Monterey.
sample the
Yeah.
intersection, I think that would help.
Are those crosswalks, I guess, that's a question, are those?
Oh,
crosswalks?
I think they
They-
would be.
They would be
People can
crosswalks.
walk down them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It is a safe path, I think, too, right?
it didn't say eliminating mid-block crosswalks. We kind of looked outside of City Hall today, and in most cases, there wasn't parking where we looked at unmarked, but we looked at the ones that cross for Crocker Trail.
mhm.
If there was parking, those would count because they're painted and they're mid-block. So I think the same applies here, even though they're unmarked, they're still crossing.
Yeah, I would think so, because they're well used. And there's a lot of parking and those up next to the alleys. Every time I've seen them, I rarely see them, with no parking around them. So that we probably should include that alley Napa Avenue.
I guess what would be the best sort of, so map markings and for each section, you wanna know if we would reduce a parking spot, and then what are the sort of other criteria you wanna measure?
We're really trying to figure out, I mean,
How many parking spots are we?
Total, is it,
eh,
or is it unmarked intersections and parking spot?
the striping, how does the striping
Tipping work,
change?
how many times do you need a stripe, or how much would you need to, yeah, what each intersection?
What needs to be eliminated? So go to, well, look at like visitation with the layers back on, where it's angled,
Mhm.
Visitation, what's.
anywhere, zoom in.
Okay.
So, whereas this is 15, this is a bulb out, right?
Mhm.
So it's only 15 back from the crosswalk. How much striping do we need to take out? Is it end up just being one?
But not on that side, though, that's not the approaching side, though.
Right,
So in
yeah.
this
Yeah.
instance,
You're right. You're on
Here,
top
yeah,
of
so on
it.
that side, that would be 15, how many spots would we have to remove then?
how much of the paint do we have to, yeah, that's,
Okay,
But paint, like, so in this case, that would be a lot more paint than, like, it could be one whole spot only, maybe potentially, but that's like, how do you mark more paint or less paint?
what, can you measure on this?
Yeah. 15, right?
20 feet total is what we need, right?
No, because it's a bulb
Oh, it's
out.
bulb out, 15.
So 15, so really just that has to go in,
The one spot.
One space.
and that particular stripe.
Okay, I guess, how should we mark stripes versus spots versus cuts versus?
and on an angle parking like that.
I
if
guess
there's-
if you're just drawing that,
Yeah.
we can figure it out.
Okay.
If somebody else has a piece of paper, they scribble that out, I think it's
Okay.
helpful,
Okay,
I guess would it be helpful to annotate, because you can, like, I will mark something like this, and I can also have a note in there, so it's annotated as like striping or
Yeah.
intersection spot, what would be helpful for you
I
guys?
think just, yeah, no, that would,
And if you wanna send us something after you do one
You-
block.
yeah.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah, I was trying to see if we can all align on something, some wise, we could write
Yeah.
down something.
so Christian was just saying I should do an example and I could go do one and know all the criteria, all the information I take down, send it out and be like, use this.
That would be
as
very
the guide, yeah,
helpful.
just go do one, yeah.
That could be a good example, yeah.
So yeah, this is a good example to pick because of the bulb outs. So
Mhm.
15 feet here when we have these, but other than that, 20 feet.
Mhm.
Well, and the bioswale, is that what that is right there on the lower side on the,
Right here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, those already eliminate parking, which is really nice.
Yeah, and San Bruno coming down and approaching, there's a couple like that recently.
Mhm.
put in.
I love the bioswales, they make so much sense.
Mhm. Especially the rain.
Well, that and keeping the water before it goes out.
I guess, are we good with the sort of assignment to everyone do a couple of blocks and check in?
Yeah,
And then Tomaso first send out sort of.
Yeah, also,
Guidelines on what to.
Right, I had a bunch of like helpful information. I'm not gonna go into all of it, but things I was looking at to kind of even help me understand. And I was watching a video earlier that kind of walked through unmarked crosswalks from a police officer who was doing the video. So you can send that out.
oh,
And
please,
just
yeah.
so it's super clear, because yeah, we were also figuring this out as well. So it's not always super obvious. And then yeah, I guess Patrick will we'll see what happens.
It's probably gonna do the ridge.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that'd be helpful to see, because it'll be different.
Well,
We'll see
some
how.
It's more
folks probably
structural
have-
there, so it's probably more
Yeah.
straightforward.
what we're doing.
Yeah.
There's not that many streets at the ridge, so we can help at the end, but I think the priority should be all these little streets with all the
Mhm.
craziness going on.
It's just old streets built 1900 versus.
The park should be interesting too. How do you think about crosswalk in the park or going into the park, I guess, on that street?
Oh, yeah.
On San Francisco Avenue, you'll have some fun with that. Yeah, because I think you remember posted there's a crossover to the park and it's an unmarked crosswalk there. So that may remove some.
Yeah, on San Francisco.
Mhm.
There's actually a crosswalk missing at the corner of Plumas. San Francisco Street that leads to the park.
Yeah, I didn't know that was the name of the street.
Yeah,
So, I don't know if there are many cases. I think most of the fire hydrants are at intersections, so they're probably within that distance anyways, but if you see a fire hydrant that has parking allowed within 15 feet of it in the approach direction, you don't have to worry about all of them, just the ones that are in the same zone as this law. Mark that too,
Is the marking the same or it doesn't matter? Because
the marking
For a
on the street or the
fire
marking we're
hydrant?
doing. They don't have to be marked either, it's just a law,
okay, so we
they
should
don't have to be painted.
probably, instead of just walking the corners, walk the block and look for fire hydrants.
Well, you know, we looked at some with the public works director and he was like, I think you should focus on these approaches to these crosswalks. So
Okay,
you don't have to, but if it's in that range,
okay, so no worries,
Definitely.
okay.
and are you guys, you all have a tape measure to do this?
I'll check. I don't think I have more than a 10 at this point. I used to have a 50, but I don't anymore, it disappeared. So, I'll get one.
Well, let us know. And
Yeah, I think I. Look forward to it.
Also be safe, you know?
Yeah.
You're gonna walk
Yeah,
around.
if you say,
Fuck
if you
your
feel like you want to
Yeah.
vest or something, like.
yeah, I'm gonna need a city sticker too.
An official badge.
You guys all have your business cards.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Mine are sitting in a drawer. I don't know who to give them to.
Council.
They're just pretty.
Who has business cards, but you could give them to people if they ask, I mean, but then you're
It's a
just.
good
gonna get-
idea to carry them, yeah, when you're doing this.
Yeah, I've had people be like, what are you doing outside my house? I'm like.
What are you doing, making lots of
Yeah.
parking?
I love you that.
Like taking photos and everything.
Yeah, post them on Facebook because we're
It would make me nervous if a city person came up
Right.
and started taking
And I'm not-
photos of my house. It's like,
I'm not as known as like Randy or Karen, for instance, around the community too, like they would like recognize that, but maybe not me.
it's called the police.
Call the police.
Say, "Oh, God, It's just my house.
And a couple of them would be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That city badge, where'd you get that? Okay, should we go back to the agenda? Clear as mud.
Here's the agenda. Oh, there you go. Okay.
And staff updates.
Not
Just,
beside,
count tomorrow night, we're bringing back the letter to,
Yeah.
for Thomas and Tulare to city council.
Oh, can we get a copy of that?
Do you get the agenda email soon? It's already,
Oh, for the city, for council,
Council?
yes, yes, I do.
I need to work on getting my city email back
Back up.
working again. I think
Has there been
I
any?
got to delete off my phone and I'm trying to get it back.
oh, yeah.
Who should I contact the city to do that?
Is it Ingrid? I
Is
think.
it Ingrid? Okay. It probably be.
Has there been any feedback from the public or from any sort of yet? on
One, we got one email.
it was very supportive, I forget who it
I
was.
think it's great, please start.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think you sent it to the council.
Us?
yeah, like, they're like, let us know if there's anything we can do to help out with what you guys are doing,
Wonderful.
so that was nice to hear.
What street, I wonder?
I don't know if I'll find, it's deep in my email somewhere, but it was one of the big ones, Karen, I'm kind of blanking on it. But yeah,
Who
there's,
forwarded it, Ingrid?
I think it was Caroline, maybe.
But she gets the, Ingrid gets the council. No,
No, I'm curious. I'm trying to find
since I guess it'll be read at the meeting.
Yeah, I'll just look for the agenda.
Andrew Calm, and I'm the owner of 99 Thomas Avenue.
Oh, up there, okay.
We are very interested in this program and happy to see it start.
That was one of the streets that was potentially
That's one of the
recommended and
streets
might be, would be, yeah.
Thomas and Hilaire, right? Those are the two streets.
Yeah,
Thomas,
90, which is 99, is it up or closer to the? I don't know.
I don't know for sure, but I would imagine it's closer to San Bruno.
Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with- any other?
Just by the time, again, because rain, there's been constant delays, but by the time we meet next month, visitation overlay, the lower part should have begun. We're planning to start, I think it's the 26th as the date to begin construction. And we've been meeting constantly and there's been rain and it's been kind of back and forth, but now it looks like the end of the month is clearing up, so we're gonna start that.
The weather looks better and then it doesn't.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
they say
so, yeah,
now
figure-
it's gonna be this
fingers crossed.
week or something. It's gonna be awful.
Is the AB 413 being considered in the repave, because there's repaving going on, or is it just painting or the lower half or not repainting?
Oh, are we?
Yeah, so I guess, so there'll be parking spots reduced then from AB 14 through 413?
Who's doing that? Can
Wow,
somebody do
that's
that
a
right
good
away?
point.
Yeah, right, if we're doing it, might as well not paint that parking spot.
That's true. That's a great point.
We're
So
gonna
staff
add-
gets everything that's being repaved.
Just looking at that one intersection, like, huh, might as well.
We're gonna add Sharrows.
Yeah.
Have we mentioned the speed hump, Karen?
On Solano?
No.
Oh, yes.
Where?
Which is, Randy, it's right in front of this playground on the way to Lippman, I believe, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh, you're adding them.
Yeah, there's gonna be a speed hump right around here.
Is there one down further or no?
It should be,
I thought,
there should be
are
one
there, is there
on
one?
the
Yeah.
approach to the preschool.
That's why I didn't mention it. It's not my project.
Right, so
I don't
yeah,
know anything about it.
but it's kind of bidding, it's concurrent with the low visitation overlay. It's gonna happen with the same contractor, he's just gonna add that. But-
I think that the reports were that parents dropped their kids off at school and then raced to get to their jobs on time
Mhm.
after
There-
their kids are safely deposited at school, so it's kind of that outbound.
That makes sense.
That's what.
And it's right in front of the.
Yeah.
That's the
So-
idea, right?
Oh.
For them.
If
Well,
there's
Are you
some,
gonna look at this for us?
Yeah, I was going to, but right there, yeah, make sure, but if it's, yeah. Is there already speed humps further down, are there or no?
There are.
There are a few, but it's just, yeah, as it keeps, yeah, obviously
That's
more.
school
is-
property
Yeah, yeah,
there.
I see it.
Right, I think I see one right next to the soccer field, right there.
But yeah, I was on.
Oh, yeah.
so this is a pretty
School.
big project. I guess my question would be, in terms of the agenda that we have drafted, and it's gonna be a review on the next meeting. Are we gonna be doing different things, or we're just gonna concentrate on this?
Well, I think the liaisons.
We'll clear that up.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but this was priority, that's.
But yeah,
So I don't know if out of the list, what else and where it fits.
right.
I didn't really wanna talk about that, they want this to happen first. So they may, I don't know, they may say that, you know,
Well, we have the year before it goes into absolute effect. And so it's a good idea probably that it's a priority. So we're organized and ready to go.
right, and they talked about October, but for us to change the striping, we need the weather, so maybe September is a better goal.
Okay.
So that's
I'm
not
ready.
many months, really.
Yeah.
A lot of striping, a lot of signage to put up, and could you have to put up signage to move cars ahead of time and stuff, I'm guessing? How far ahead do they say it'll be
You
notified?
know, our inspector tells us when we overlay, like when we overlay on visitation, they don't necessarily wanna put up no parking and clear it out and have the hassle, they kind of do, as people move, they come
They
in.
just come.
So maybe.
Yeah.
Over a few days, they come in,
I just would do
but I would think it'd be better to
it. Close the office
overlay
and
and
just,
just
yeah.
march through consecutively, so,
Mhm.
but yeah, that'll be.
Yeah.
It'd be challenging.
Well, and it might make people a little more focused on the parking permit program, which I never
You
wanted.
could just put
But
up the
now I
barricades that
recognize-
say no parking and it'll be from now until forever.
Forever. People get used to it.
Or I saw one in Bart that had. it had
Yeah, and
a
never
W2.
again.
This escalator will be out of service until, and it didn't say anything, and someone wrote in the rapture.
I just saw a post from like today, they got some new ones apparently that they finally built,
Yeah,
replaced a couple of the Montgomery apparently. some of those escalators that have been always
Oh,
broken
until,
until rapid.
maybe it's coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting that maybe we have no parking signs and this won't be marked, but the new law that, so outreach. Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
You
I
does
mean,
have
it's-
those,
it's- it's,
That
Definitely.
might need to start
Signs.
now rather than later.
when we talked about this, police said that they were going to take the lead on outreach and we said we would help and I haven't heard, but you're right. Cause we could be issuing
Well, we
warnings
can
now.
be learning, I mean, exposing this law to people now, so it's not all of a sudden in 2025. They're like, hit out of the blue and don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
And so maybe, with the with the no parking, A-frames.
uh,
There could be a posted something, thank you.
what did we counted around 200 intersections? No way. 50.
Start with the main ones, like on visitation, some of the high impact ones. And most traveled streets, but post something with the law on it. And
I think 50 intersections, so maybe up to 200 spaces.
yeah, but there's some that are like more visible, like San Bruno Avenue, or visitation is a great one to start with.
Yeah,
That's gonna be a
Is
tough
it though,
one.
like preferential, because it applies everywhere,
No, but it's a warning that it's citywide. And, for more information, contact the city or something like that and get people
Good.
prepared for it, because I don't think very many people have any idea this is
No.
coming down.
Yeah, that's a great point, because I think that, the parking permit program, we were working on it, all hands on deck as a group. It was not that much exposed to the residents, and we were not doing other stuff. So if this is gonna be another mega project, what do we learn from the working on big projects like the parking permit program? In my opinion, definitely start with some sort of public outreach, right? So we get, some information from or inform the public of what's coming on. And if possible, let's see what other agenda items, we could squeeze in and just keep working with other things too, just not make it a one pony show committee.
Oh, I don't know about that. If this is what the liaisons are telling us they want, and it's our priority to go off on our own and do something else, is kind of disrespectful to the council.
I mean, you definitely check, you'll see them, like you said, you'll see them next, you can expect
No,
that.
well, I mean, obviously, we're here to serve the liaison, but I'm saying, as members, we do have opinion.
We have
that's all I'm
opinions, but
saying.
it's,
Well, we're gonna
It's-
go over that
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
week, so.
I think the public outreach point is well taken. Maybe that's something we can have signage, maybe not permanent signage, but maybe that sign in Brisbane, the park, like we have something there that says like,
Okay.
coming soon, like
Yeah.
Yeah,
in parking
please
alert.
read
Yeah.
AB,
It's
what
one
is
of
it,
those
four
where,
one five?
yeah,
413.
or just like big change coming, panic.
Because it's state law, people might really pay attention to it or
Right.
or this already,
Earlier the notification.
it's already been approved and whatnot, so. People might think twist. I remember I saw that law, I was like, wow, really?
Yeah.
My sister is visiting from Massachusetts. It was a surprise. She showed up last night. And I was telling her about it and she says, oh my goodness, how are you gonna do that? I said, "Yeah,
Massachusetts
I
have that
don't
law,
know."
because everyone enforce it, that's another thing.
Mhm.
Let's see, oh, wait, but.
Yeah, any other staff updates, Bovis, shuttle stops, Alvarado to San Benito, still got the plans finalized, but we have to, the other side of Public Works is reinforcing the water line that's there, so everywhere that we're putting in, I'm sure I've said this before, but everywhere we're putting in, trying to put in these stairways, our utility easement corridors, not easements, technically city properties, so we're having to work around
Mhm.
having those, having a sewer, storm drain and water line in that area and then putting concrete on top of it so you can't access it and repair it. So they want to reinforce the water line so that it's gonna be under the stairs, directly under the stairs, so
Yeah,
I want to make sure it's never damaged. So that'll probably happen later in the summer. The stairway project, still slated to happen this year, and then we're gonna get started on
and
that.
that's which one?
That's the Alvarado to San Benito.
Okay, when's Tulare?
So that is at about 65% design. We were struggling with our consultant, but now they're on track, so we're gonna re-engage for them to finish the design for that one, so that'll probably be next summer.
Good.
And then we also did get funding to do the design for the lower part, and we can try to go after grant funding for that too.
Mhm.
And, is that what you had said, San Francisco to Bayshore County?
Yeah,
That's to be designed, and we don't have the funding yet to do the improvements, but that would be a nice one.
Mhm.
What about the slurry seal, Karen? I think, yeah,
So we seal that, we should figure out the striping before we do that
that's
though.
true, right, yeah, now this other consideration, but yeah.
We got a couple of slurry seals lined up, that'll actually help, yeah.
Alright.
Mhm.
But just to kind of give you guys an idea of where that would actually be happening, it would be San Bruno Avenue from Thomas to Bayshore. But of course, we have to consider the striping,
Backside, Thomas. I don't know.
backside, oh, to Bayshore, yeah, down to Bayshore, San Mateo Lane's a small one, but Klamath. I'm looking at the plans right here, San Francisco Avenue from Visitation to Santa Clara and yeah, so.
As long as we have a way to get around it to get home, I think that's.
Right, and slurry seals are, yeah, the overlay is a lot more involved, the slurry seals are kind of
That's
quicker.
a really good point about outreach, though, if we're gonna be paving Visitation at the end of this month and taking out that parking, then we need to be telling people why that happens.
Mhm. It kind of keeps people from feeling like they're left out of the process or, that
Yeah,
the council is punishing somehow,
yeah,
which
Big Brother is,
I hear a lot.
Man, yeah.
the man is,
Karen.
I have nothing to do with this law.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not a lot of other staff updates other than that.
Okay.
Any chair committee member matters?
I'm turning 70 tomorrow.
Oh,
Happy
birthday.
birthday. Getting old, it's like, when I was younger, it's like 70, that's just ancient.
70's young, 70 is the new.
It's mid-30.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
happy
much.
birthday.
Huh?
It's a big milestone.
That's why my sister flew in, it was a big.
Oh, yeah, that's a big
surprise.
deal.
Yeah.
Oh, did you surprise
I
her?
was surprised.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
That's a nice surprise.
was. Yeah, I'm so happy that she's here. I almost thought about zooming in on this meeting. I really need to go. I really need to go. There's something new on the agenda. I don't know what's going on.
And then liaisons the next meeting and let's go.
So hopefully we'll have some good stuff to start with and, be very productive. I think it's gonna be a good productive year. And, it sounds like they really are serious about us getting this done. If it's gonna be completely policed law next year, it's only 9 months away.
Yeah.
Flying by, yeah.
Yeah.
With that, I guess our next meeting is April 3rd then, and we have an assignment before then to sort of start looking through some of this once Moss sends out some
Right,
sort of
yeah.
guidelines on markings or what to be looking for.
Yeah, I'll be in contact with you guys, send you guys helpful tips, what to look for, and just run through this all over again. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. That would be good. I'm looking forward to that email.
Yeah, of
as
course.
soon as possible.
And if you're interested, I'll send the whole law and it's
I
lawyer.
looked it up. I looked it up and read it.
Dialect, but yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that video you referenced would be nice, the one where you just had a police officer.
Yeah, definitely,
That would
that
be
cleared,
great.
that cleared it up for me too.
Okay.
All right, so I guess we're done.
Yeah, we're adjourned then.
Need to go.
Yeah.